At the prestigious Willoughby High, where old money and legacy names rule the social hierarchy, Ayanna Johnson is invisible. A quiet, scholarship student, she keeps her head down, her white shirt crisp, and her focus on her future. To the school's elite, led by the vicious Tyler Prescott and his accomplices, she is just another easy target for their cruel pranks. But Ayanna guards a secret, forged in fire and discipline. Beneath her calm exterior lies the skill of a trained MMA fighter, a strength born from necessity, not sport. When her harassment escalates from whispers to a violent physical assault, Ayanna is faced with an impossible choice: submit to their humiliation and protect her hard-won scholarship, or unleash the fighter within and risk everything. They see a vulnerable girl. They pick the wrong target. And when they lay their hands on her, they will learn that the most dangerous predators are often the ones you never see coming. The final bell at Willoughby High was a release valve, unleashing a torrent of expensive backpacks, varsity jackets, and weekend plans into the polished hallways. Ayanna Johnson moved against the current, a solitary figure in the stream. She adjusted the strap of her worn backpack, her fingers brushing the crisp cotton of her white button-up shirt, a uniform of conformity she wore like armor. Her path was a calculated one, avoiding the main thoroughfares where the school's elite held court. Instead, she slipped down a quieter corridor, the air growing still and faintly metallic. Here, the lockers were older, their blue paint chipped and peeling. This route, past the industrial dumpsters and the rusting bleachers, was her sanctuary. It was the price she paid for peace. Her phone buzzed. "Hi, Mom. Don't forget dinner with Aunt Marie tonight." Her mother's warm voice filled her ear, a stark contrast to the cold hallway. "She wants to hear all about Georgetown." "I know. The essay's ready. The deadline's closing in." "I am so proud of you." And her mother said, and she could hear the weight of double shifts and silent sacrifices in those 5 words. The scholarship wasn't just a goal, it was a pact between them, a promise to break a cycle. "You're going to make it happen." "I will, Mom. Love you. Love you more." Tap out. The words were a key, unlocking a memory. Her coach's voice, calm and sure in the steamy gym. "Your breath is your life, Ayanna. Never let anyone control it. Remember your training." Time seemed to slow. The fear evaporated, replaced by a cold, crystalline clarity. She could feel every flaw in his amateur hold. Her fingers found their target, the pressure points on his forearm, and dug in with precision. Tyler grunted in surprise, his grip loosening for a fraction of a second. It was all she needed. She dropped her weight, creating a precious inch of space, then twisted her body with fluid grace. Using his own momentum, her hands gripped his arm, her hip turned, and suddenly Tyler was airborne. He landed on his back with a sickening thud, the air rushing from his lungs in a surprised gasp. Silence. Madison's phone wavered, her smirk replaced by shock. "Tyler!" But Ayanna was already moving. Connor rushed her. She sidestepped, redirecting his charge with a simple shoulder throw. He sprawled onto the asphalt, skidding into the dumpster. Dylan backed away, hands raised. "Hey, wait!" He swung wildly. She blocked, trapped his arm, and used his force to send him tumbling. Madison tried to run, but Ayanna caught her wrist, not to hurt, but to hold. "Delete it," Ayanna commanded, her voice rough but steady. I can't." Ayanna applied the slightest pressure, a silent promise of what could follow. "Delete it." With trembling fingers, Madison picked up her phone and erased the video. From the back door, Miss Patel, the chemistry teacher, watched in stunned silence, a stack of forgotten papers in her hand. She had seen it all. Tyler groaned, rolling over. His Letterman jacket was smeared with dirt. "You're crazy," he gasped, but the fear in his eyes betrayed him. Ayanna stood amidst them, her chest heaving, her white shirt rumpled, but her stance unbroken. The quiet girl was gone. In her place stood a warrior. The aftermath was a whirlwind of twisted narratives. Madison, ever the strategist, had a backup video, expertly edited to show only Ayanna's defense, not their attack. The administration, led by a principal who feared Tyler's school board president father, suspended Ayanna for 2 weeks. Her scholarship dangled by a thread. Her mother received a suspicious eviction threat. The system was closing ranks, and Ayanna was on the outside. But they had underestimated her. With the help of her tech-savvy friend Marcus and the quiet support of Miss Patel, Ayanna began to fight back. They weren't just fighting one incident, they were uncovering a system. They found other victims: Elijah, a brilliant student whose family was threatened into silence, others who had been run out of school. They gathered evidence of buried complaints, of paid-off grievances, of a pattern of abuse protected by power and privilege. The final confrontation came at a school-wide assembly. Lured into a hallway ambush, Ayanna found herself surrounded once more. Tyler, enraged and humiliated, lunged. But this time, they were not alone. At a nod from Ayanna, a dozen phones rose from the crowd, recording from every angle. Marcus, Elijah, and others she had empowered stood their ground, a silent army of witnesses. Ayanna didn't throw a punch. She deflected, redirected, and controlled. She demonstrated the true purpose of her skills: defense, not aggression. The videos captured it all: the racist slurs, the unprovoked attacks, her flawless restraint. The evidence was undeniable and instantly went viral. The fortress of privilege crumbled. The superintendent launched a real investigation. Tyler, Madison, Connor, and Dylan were expelled. The principal and several administrators were fired. The story made local news, then national headlines. In the weeks that followed, the school underwent a transformation. New anti-bullying policies, dubbed Ayanna's Law, were implemented. A scholarship in her name was established for students showing moral courage. On a bright Saturday morning, the Willoughby High gym was filled with a different energy. Blue mats covered the floor. Students of all grades, those who had once been silent or afraid, now stretched and chatted nervously. Ayanna stood at the center, wearing her black MMA gi, a brown belt tied at her waist. Miss Patel beamed from the sidelines. Her mother watched from the bleachers, her face radiant with pride. "Okay, everyone," Ayanna's voice rang out, clear and confident. "Self-defense isn't just about fighting. It's about knowing your worth. It starts with balance." She demonstrated a basic stance. The students mirrored her, some wobbling, some giggling. She moved among them, a calm and assured guide. "Now, pair up. We'll practice a simple wrist release. It's not about hurting anyone, it's about protecting yourself and creating space to get away." The gym filled with the sound of focused movement and occasional laughter. Ayanna watched as a shy freshman successfully escaped a hold, a look of stunned empowerment spreading across her face. Miss Patel partnered with a group, her own movements a little clumsy but full of determination. As the session ended, Ayanna gathered them in a circle. "This is about community," she said, her gaze sweeping over the diverse, hopeful faces. "It's about being strong for yourselves and for each other." The applause started from the bleachers, led by her mother and Councilwoman Dixon, who had become a powerful ally. The students joined in, their applause not just for her, but for themselves, for their newfound courage. Later, as the mats were rolled away, Ayanna checked her phone. A new message flashed on the screen from an unknown number. "Hey, I saw what you did for the school. There's some stuff happening at my sister's middle school. Could we talk?" Ayanna looked out at the emptying gym. at the space that had once been a battleground and was now a place of empowerment. A small, determined smile touched her lips. The work was just beginning. She typed her reply. Yes, tell me everything.